What's up? We are creeping into the summer season. And if you watch my reading of the year, I said that summer is going to be a very passionate time. It's going to be a time where emotions run high, but it's also going to be a time where we have an abundance of creative energy and we're going to be able to transmute pretty much anything we want into a blessing, into a manifestation, if we are able to process our emotions, be honest with ourselves, be present with ourselves, and really see the bigger picture of the moment. This is mostly because Jupiter is now in Cancer. Now, I made a little error in my older content and I said that Jupiter would be in Cancer starting July 1st, but it was actually June 1st. So if you're following along with me and you're listening to this content to keep up with the astrological sky, my apologies. But all of the materials that I use from when I first started using sidereal astrology to now comes from the People's Oracle. So if you want to track everything yourself, just go follow her content, purchase her workbooks and calendars so that you can see for yourself. But without further ado, let's really get into some messages about what Jupiter in Cancer is really going to be showing us collectively and individually. I'm going to pull a few cards, but first off, I want to start by just telling you guys what to expect from Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer it already feels different. Like, it's the first week when I'm recording this, the first week in June, and it's the first week of Jupiter in Cancer. And already I feel a shift within me. I feel a shift around me. Really, honestly, it's a positive shift. Intuitively, there's going to be some really positive changes that are going to come out of this transit over the next year/year and a half, because we do have a portion of the fall season where Jupiter is going to go into Leo. What Cancer is really going to offer us intuitively is going to offer a deep, deep, deep healing. And that's going to look like people coming together, relationships being mended. It's just going to look like moving forward from a lot of maybe past hurts or misunderstandings. It's going to look like growth as well. So this is a special, special, special time, and you need to get ready for it, okay? Because what if these positive things come up? What if these growth opportunities come up? What if you have a chance to mend broken things and you can't do it because you have a block in your heart chakra? You can't do it because your pride is in the way. You can't do it because you're not open to receive and be receptive. So, that's really the biggest message that I'm getting out the gate with Jupiter in Cancer, is that it's going to be opening a lot of us up to be receptive to other people and to just other energies. Some of us, we think that we constantly have to perform or do or give or bring something to the table, quote unquote. And if you've seen my earlier message where I said you need to apologize to your ancestors, you'll understand that sometimes it's just not about that. It's not about what you can do. It's just about the connection, the relationship. It's about supporting others and just being present. Sometimes just showing up for people makes the difference. You didn't have to say anything. You didn't have to bring anything. You didn't have to perform anything. You just were there, and your presence made a difference. Your presence was felt. Okay? Another thing intuitively that I've been picking up on is that Jupiter in Cancer is really going to help bring deep emotions to the surface. Okay? So Saturn in Pisces is already kind of stirring up deep, dark emotions. For me personally, I've been having, sometimes my ancestors give me visions And it just depends on what I'm doing. It happens in different ways. Sometimes it happens for me to properly express something creatively. But when I think about Saturn and Pisces, I think about the deep sea. I think about really, really deep, deep things. Like it's like it's like you're in like the deeper part of the ocean. It's a deep sea type of energy, right? So because we're dealing with Saturn and Pisces over the past year, and some because we're still gonna move forward with Saturn and Pisces probably till at least closer to 2028, if not through 2028 as well. But this energy is already bringing up heavier emotions, denser emotions. It's bringing up things that we've buried under the rug, things that we thought we were done with, things that we thought we were over, and things that we also just may not even have an explanation for. Sometimes things happen to us, and I'm sure if you listen to wellness or spiritual content, you'll hear all the time, the body keeps the score, right? And so because our body keeps the score, sometimes we go through things and we're not even conscious, of what it is or why we feel a certain type of way. And then years later, out of nowhere, that same feeling will come up and we'll wonder, where is this coming from? What triggered this? And it's really just something that we never dealt with, we never sat with, and we never released from the past. And sometimes it's not even that big of a deal, but it's just the fact that it's time for it to be let go. So the thing is, with Cancer now supporting that movement, right, that Saturn and Pisces is already doing, now this is going to bring a lot of stuff to the surface. Cancer is a zodiac sign and an energy that really, really is like a me first kind of energy. You're not going to ignore my feelings. You're not going to ignore my body. You're not going to ignore me. Okay? Cancer definitely likes to be the center of attention. And so what that energy is going to do is help us center ourselves emotionally, physically. It's really just going to help a lot of people really get better at acknowledging their truth, acknowledging their body, acknowledging their heart, and really, really being honest emotionally about those things. And so this is why through much of my content over the past 6 months, I've been talking about getting out of your head and getting into your heart, because that's what this transit is really, really going to call from us. Some other little tidbits that you might be curious about. Yes, Cancer represents women in general. It represents the moon. So not only is it going to bring a focus to your body, to your emotions, to your heart, but it's also going to bring attention to your reflection and the people around you and their ability to be able to mirror back to you whatever it is that you're going through, or just mirror back you to you. Okay? And sometimes that's not negative. Sometimes we need people to praise us. We need people to acknowledge us. We need people to celebrate us. We need people to say, yes, you are that girl. You are that guy. Yes, we love you. You need that, right? And so this is going to really bring a focus into who is able to properly mirror us. There's some people who, I don't know why Spirit just said yes men. There's some people who are yes men, right? And yes men are not always properly mirroring you. You need people who are in tune with themselves and in tune with their bodies enough to know, ooh, sis, that didn't hit right. Ooh, I don't know about that, bro. You sure about that? Right? Because some people are not always mirroring you. Some people are just like, if it makes you happy, it makes me happy. They just gonna go along with whatever it is. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that person's a bad person, because that person can be letting you have autonomy and freedom. But when you're surrounding yourself with people who are not true mirrors, then you can't really see yourself. And sometimes when we don't have a true mirror, when we don't have anybody or any community that can properly reflect us, it can end up hurting us in the end, because then we can have a distorted sense of self, a distorted sense of direction in our lives. And another way that often I've experienced where people are not properly mirroring you is like, a lot of times haters are not mirrors, right? So you can walk into a room, or you can be around a certain person and they always mugging you and making all these different faces, and that's not necessarily someone who's mirroring you, right? And so we're gonna now become more conscious of, maybe you seeing something else but you're not seeing me, and you're not reflecting who I authentically am, and I need to distance myself from you, because you seeing something, you're reacting to something that is not there. And a lot of times, I'm gonna tell you this from experience, because I am the magic mirror, okay? A lot of times people who are not conscious of their reflection, they will be seeing themselves in you, and they don't even know it. So every time they see you, they're making a face and they're making shady comments, and they got a problem with you, because they're not even conscious of the impact they create towards you, and the reaction that you have towards them is about you. They're not even conscious of that. So they think all these crazy things like, oh, she don't like me, or oh, she act funny, or he act funny, when she around me, and the whole time is because they have a nasty attitude, they act funny, they don't know how to talk to people, and they're misjudging everyone else because they can't acknowledge their own reflection. This here is really, really gonna be a powerful moment for developing better relationships in general, mending broken bonds, healing, deep healing. But also, it's gonna be a chance for you to connect deeper with yourself. You cannot have good relationships with anybody if you don't even know, if you're unconscious of your own reflection, if you're unconscious of the impact that you create, and the way that your actions and your words land on other people. Okay? For many people, Jupiter in Cancer is going to have a big impact on the relationship with your mothers. So, some of us, we may be losing our mothers. Some of us may be gaining mothers. Some of us may be establishing a deeper relationship with our mothers. Some of us may be learning new things from our mothers. Some of us may be teaching our mothers with Jupiter in Cancer. Some of us may be healing mother wounds. Some of us may be just establishing a different relationship with our mothers. I know for me personally, I'm a late bloomer type of person. Shout out to my Capricorn placement. Even though I am big Sag energy, I have big Capricorn energy too. So I'm a late bloomer. I slept with my mom till I was 9 years old. I have never owned my own place. I have lived outside of home before, but it was with like my boyfriends or whatever at the time. But like pretty much my whole adult life, I've been at home. And that's something that sometimes I struggle with, but it's also a blessing, because in this economy, If you want to live a comfortable lifestyle, sometimes you do have to make sacrifices. Like, do I really want to pay $1,500 or more for rent, or do I want to be able to take a vacation, or get my hair, get my nails done, do car repairs, pay off loans? Like, sometimes you gotta be humble and take a budget cut, for me, as I'm going through my Saturn return. And also just like experiencing, I think the water energy has really been telling me like it's time to get out on your own for real. And not necessarily through a relationship, but just like you need to do this for you, is getting to that point for me. So, and that's interesting because, like I said, when I was 9 years old, that's when I decided I'm not sleeping in the bed with my mom anymore, because, like, used to be scared to sleep by myself when I was a little kid. So I just always slept with her. But then at a certain point, I was like, okay, I don't want to sleep with you no more. But now it's like I'm 29 years old, and 20 years later, I'm like, okay, I don't even want to be in this house anymore. Um, and I love my home. Like I said, I'm blessed. There are some people in the world who they don't have that as even an option or a choice, because they may have toxic relationships with their mom, or their house their the house they were raised in may have been a toxic environment. Just all kind of stuff. And I know that because my mom, she shared with me before that that's kind of a part of her story. Like, I don't want to call my grandma toxic, but let's just say she has some tendencies that are not healthy. She have explained to me before that when you grow up like that, you don't want to recreate that environment or those circumstances for your kids. So she always said like she wanted her home to be a place where her kids didn't have to escape from. And so I appreciate that. But nobody's perfect, and there are some things that I struggle with in my relationship with my mom. And that doesn't mean I hate her. That doesn't mean um I'm about to get on the internet and badmouth her and say all this stuff. But it just means that it's time for a shift in my life, and I have to acknowledge it. Well, I've already acknowledged it, but I have to act on it eventually. So that's just a little tidbit and a little peek into my journey. And um I don't think I've really, really truly opened up about that before. But yeah. So all of that to say that, this is going to be a time where your mom, our moms, our mother figures, whether it's your literal biological mom, or it's your grandmother, or it's somebody who's a mother figure to you, there's going to be some changes in those relationships. Major changes, by the way, major changes in those relationships. So I'm just dropping this off so that you can be aware. I'm not going to even say get ready, but just be aware that there's some changes coming right to your home, to your household, to your family, right to your front door. And um yeah, just just know it's on the way, whether you're ready or not. A message that's really been deep on my heart for like the past 6 months is that when it comes to like our family dynamics and stuff, nobody has picture perfect family. We all have stuff in our family that needs to be worked through and worked on. A message that's been really, really deep within me for the past 6 months is that it's truly time to let some of these family grudges go. At a certain point, the list gets way too long. You know, well, he did this and she did this and they didn't do this and they didn't do that and I did this because this and that and this and that. And it's like, okay, why do we have so many track records and tabs and all these different things going on? The list gets too long. Spirit is going to be working with a lot of us on, number one, accountability, because like I said, you have to acknowledge the part you play. You have to acknowledge your own reflection sometimes, because it's not always what someone else is doing. Sometimes people are responding to you. They're not just doing that out of nowhere. They're responding to how you're showing up. So you have to fix yourself first so that you can get better responses and reactions from other people. However, there is a need for some of us to just have basic respect in our families. Basic respect, okay? And I've had this conversation with 3 of my family members that, you know, at a certain point, you have to have a basic level of empathy, a basic level of respect. And you have to be able to say, at the end of the day, this is my brother, this is my sister, this is my mom, this is my dad. And no, I don't like whatever things you say. I don't like whatever actions that you have. But guess what? You're my biological mother, brother, sister, whatever. And I'm going to set a boundary with you that we're not going to go into all these different topics and stuff. But I'm going to respect you just because of the place that you have in my life. Period. Full stop. Because a lot of times in our family, we can get like super worked up and triggered about stuff. And then we have all these different track records that we're keeping on people simply because, number one, we don't have the correct boundary in place for that relationship. But also because we're not able to just have that basic level of respect. It's certain things that I'm not going to do or say because this person is an elder. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things I'm not going to do or say because I grew up with this person. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that doesn't mean that you're a coward. To me, that doesn't mean that you're shrinking yourself. It just means that you're going to operate in a certain level of integrity and respect when you are coming together with certain people in your family. Okay? So I'm gonna let that sit with y'all. We might come back to some of these very messages on another video, but I do want to end this with just a general message. We already know summer's gonna be a very passionate time, but I just want to see, like, I want to give you guys a reading. What can we expect? What is Jupiter and Cancer here to show us? So these two popped out. Ace of Hearts, and we've got 2 of Diamonds. Okay, so Jupiter and Cancer is here to give us a better relationship with ourselves. Okay, so a lot of us are gonna level up our relationship with ourselves. We're gonna have a more conscious understanding of our own reflection, right? So that's number 1. You're gonna get a better relationship with yourself. This is really about you. It's about you. I know when we talk about water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, everybody wants to go straight to the relationship conversation. But it starts with you, baby. It starts with you. And every other blessing, every other level up is going to come from you having a better relationship with yourself, you understanding what you look like, you knowing how you feel, you understanding your body, your reactions, your moods, your temperament. Yes, is going to come from you understanding yourself better. And then to follow up with that, we have the 2 of Diamonds. 2 of Diamonds can represent like improvements over time, small improvements. But it can also represent like harmony, like it's like something coming together for like improvements over time, things getting better, things coming together for like a real manifested concrete like upgrade or something working together. Like, we're coming together, we're doing this so that we can have X. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just we're coming together so that we can feel good. We're coming together so that because we like each other so much. No, it's more so like, I know what I bring to the table. You know what you bring to the table. We know if we partner up, we can make this happen, type of thing. But all of that comes from getting to know yourself better. You can't team up, collaborate. You can't offer anybody anything if you don't even know yourself that well. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk about what you bring to the table and you really don't know, right? So all of this again is going to come from a deeper relationship with yourself. And then this card popped up, which is the Eight of Hearts. Okay, so Eight of Hearts is really talks about kind of like this guardian angel type energy. It talks about deep relationships, deep connections. It talks about safe spaces. And it talks about like mutual respect. So this is kind of confirming that message that I just spoke on a little while ago, saying that it's time to have a certain level of emotional maturity where you're not constantly reacting or constantly going tit for tat with people, or disrespecting people because whatever your feelings are, because at a certain point you're disrespecting yourself when you constantly have to react or respond to whatever somebody's doing or not doing to you or in your life, right? We have to just get to a point where we see what it is, we understand what it is, and we know that, like, especially when it comes to family, this is my so and so. That's what they do. I'm gonna set the boundary, but it's still love. I'm not gonna do certain things or have certain conversations with them, right? And so, what this Eight of Hearts really comes down to is us deciding that we're not going to over pour or over invest our emotions into things that don't serve us. So yeah, so that's what is going to be coming out of Jupiter in Cancer. I'm going to pull a few more cards because it keeps raining on and off, and the rain is really going heavy right now. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, let's see what pops out. What is Jupiter in Cancer gonna be teaching us, showing us? What are we gonna be experiencing? So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the bottom of the deck energy. Ooh. Okay, so some of us are gonna be conquering fears. Some of us are gonna be conquering some subconscious fears that we have, maybe around community, around love, around acceptance, around motherhood, around parenting or childhood wounds, around family. Some of us are going to be dealing with some subconscious fears that are going to be coming up. Got the Chaksa Jupiter in Cancer. What can we look forward to experiencing? What can we look forward to learning, growing through, healing? What is it going to be showing us? Okay, so again, there's going to be some deep spiritual work, some deep spiritual healing that's going to come out of Jupiter in Cancer transit over the next year or so. And some of us are going to be shown a guide. We're going to be given a new teacher, okay? We're going to be learning from somebody, okay? And then for some of us, we may be becoming a guide. We may be becoming a teacher. We may be becoming like a parental figure to someone or something. Some of us may have to step up into a position that maybe we didn't know we were gonna have, or maybe we're not comfortable with, or yeah, but that's gonna be some of us. We're gonna be the guide. Some of us are going to be the guide, and some of us are going to be learning and experiencing how to be guided. And some of us are going to be shown a new guide, a new teacher. Also, don't take that too literally, because it could be a figurative thing. You know, sometimes it's not necessarily a person that's guiding us, but it just may be an experience that's guiding us. It may be uh, a change of location or a new job or whatever that is now teaching us something about ourselves that we didn't know. Okay. And then we have spiritual work in reverse. Okay. So obviously, there's going to be some spiritual work that needs to be done with all this water energy that we're going to be experiencing over the summer. Let's dig into that card a little bit more and see what it's really talking about. Okay, so I'm going in here to see what the reverse card means, and it's really talking about getting more in tune with our ancestors, especially regarding like family drama. Um, I've been talking a lot about family drama, guys. Family drama, issues that are in your family. It's really, really gonna take some consistent ancestor work for some of us to heal those wounds and those toxic patterns and cycles, and have those tough conversations. You're gonna have to get on top of your ancestral veneration practices more. You're gonna have to be serious about it. You're gonna have to be consistent with it, because that's gonna be the main way that you're gonna be able to really have some breakthroughs when it comes to family, sibling relationships, mother wounds. You're going to have to involve your ancestors, and that's as simple as that. But you can expect, like I said already, without the cards, you can expect some deep healing. You can expect some changes spiritually with Jupiter in Cancer. This is a little bit lengthier reading, but I'm trying to be consistent, make sure I'm putting out some videos or whatever. But sometimes I'm a perfectionist, so I won't record a video because I don't know what to record it on. I don't know what topic I want to do. I don't know how I want it to look. So I just won't record the video. And I know, like, there's somebody out here. There's somebody out there watching these videos, and they are using them to just get to just keep going. You know what I'm saying? And I use them for the same reason. So I just want to make sure that I'm putting it out there to be received. Okay. All right. So a card did. Oh, two cards fell out. So I'm gonna just go with those. We got two beautiful energies to end this message with, and so we have all is well, all is well, and then we have when it feels right, do it. All is well, and when it feels right, do it. When it feels right, do it. Getting more attuned, ATTUNED, getting more attuned, which basically means in tune with yourself, will allow you to be able to flow better. Not everything has to be intellectualized when you just know that it is for you or it ain't for you. When you're able to listen to your body, when you're able to hear your spirit, when you know when the frequency changes, when you know your energy, you will know how to move. Okay. When it feels right, do it. Okay. So there will be some things that will come up that will require you to assess your feelings, assess your body. It's not going to require you to be so logical about it. It's just about, do I know what sits with me? Do I know what feels right with me? And can I act on it without over intellectualizing, over explaining it, doing all the research, going to Chat GPT? Can I just be in tune with myself enough to know what feels right for me? That's what we're going to be learning how to do from Jupiter and Cancer. We're already learning how to do that with Saturn and Pisces, but this is going to reinforce that message of flowing over forcing, also feeling over intellectualizing. And then we have all is well. The whole card is green, which really makes me feel like the heart chakra is really, really gonna shine through. But also this message about acceptance, okay? All is well. All is well is only well if you can accept it. So a lot of times we are having an amazing life. We're having a beautiful experience. We are in the midst of monumental change, breakthroughs, and we don't even know it. But our perspective, and not even just our perspective, our heart is not in the right place to just accept things as they are, where they are, or how they are. And to know that maybe it's not all figured out, maybe it's not all said and done, but in this moment, it's all well. It's all well. So a lot of us over the summer and throughout the duration of 2026 and even into 2027, a lot of us are going to be learning acceptance. Acceptance. Okay? Sometimes, and I've been saying this a lot, with Taurus transits, because we're still kind of still in Taurus season, okay? Taurus season is not over in the sidereal world. I've been talking about acceptance a lot, and how a lot of us get so used to being rejected that we start rejecting other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get so used to being rejected that we start being the rejecter. And so then we train our heart to think that nothing's good enough. Nobody likes us. Nobody wants to be around us. Nothing is good for us. And we're literally like sitting in a room full of people who literally love us so much. And we're sitting around people who like adore us. And then but in our minds and hearts, we're like thinking all these negative things about ourselves. And we're thinking all these negative things, and we're prejudging people and situations from a place of rejection trauma. Okay, so a lot of heart chakra work is going to be coming up for us. A lot of heart healing is going to happen. I've been talking about this for like 6 months. Okay, so this is really just a refresher and a reminder of the space that we're in as a collective. We're really, really honing into that heart, and we're really, really going to be learning that, again, everything is not hard. Everything is not a fight. Everything is not a grind, push, pull, struggle. That's not everything. I'm going to end this message on this note. Many of us right now, we're in a place, because my ancestors just told me this the other day. So I'm going to share it with you, and it's going to be a collective message from me. Many of us are in a space right now where we don't have to protect ourselves the same ways that we used to. There was a time where some of us, including myself, you may have had to cut people off fiercely and harshly. You may have had to block so many people. You may have had to distance yourself fiercely and isolate yourself fiercely. You may have had to do hexes and reversals and hardcore spiritual baths and all of these different type of things. What your ancestors want you to know, and what God really, really wants you to know, is that if you have seriously been doing the work, if you have more self-awareness, if you are really, really getting in tune with your body and intuition, you don't have to fight so hard anymore. You don't have to protect yourself so fiercely anymore, because you have a heightened level of discernment that you didn't have. Okay? Discernment allows us to be soft and flexible and still protect ourselves. That's what discernment does. Discernment says, I know that I need to stay away from this person. I know I need to keep them at arm's length, but I can still be in the room. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to not show up. I don't have to not be myself just because this person is here. I don't have to change me because of them necessarily. Discernment shows us how to ebb and flow and avoid certain things that you already know are not meant for you, right? And that's just trusting yourself. That's really what it comes down to, is trusting yourself better. When you trust yourself better, when you have more discernment, you don't have to protect yourself so hard, and you also don't have to become bitter. You don't have to reject everything and everybody, and you can just accept accept the good while discerning the bad, discerning where the boundaries need to be, discerning what's too much, what's not for you, but still being able to accept what's good. It's kind of like a filter. Imagine having a filter and there's stuff that's flowing in, right? Like how you have an air filter in your house and you have to change it every now and then. And when you change it, you see like there's dust and dirt and stuff like that on it. That's the place that spirit wants us to be at. Is like you can let in some of the air that you need, some of the good things that you need, and then you have that boundary, that filter there that says, but not that, but not that. Until next time, hope that you are embracing this new transit and you're seeing the changes around you and within you already. Blessings until next time.